Are you currently stuck at your 9 to 5? You're wanting to build a cleaning business, but you're like, I don't know how I could because my schedule will just not allow for it. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. I'm gonna give you actionable steps in this video. No fluff, straight to the point. We're gonna jump right in. So I want you to bring your pen and notepad because this is gonna be a good one. But before we do, what's up everybody? Mike Mack here, founder of AutomatedCleaningBusiness.com. I'm back with another video. I am going to deliver for you. We're gonna talk about how you can get that business off the ground while maintaining a busy schedule. And we're doing that right now. Okay, tip number one is we have to commit to the plan. I know that may sound a little like, yeah, okay, duh. But seriously, follow me for this. Because I know so many people, including myself, for most of my 20s, I was always in the planning stage. I was always in the thinking about it stage. I was kind of waiting to figure everything out before I launched something. And ultimately, whenever I would figure things out and get excited about starting, my brain would convince me that there was just not enough time in a day. There was no way I could possibly squeeze more into my day. I got such a busy life. I got a busy schedule. What am I supposed to do? Well, what I realized at the time was I was speaking like somebody who just wasn't committed to something. Because wouldn't you agree that in the past, when you've committed to something, you've kind of sidetracked all of like excuses and potential roadblocks. When you got a singular focus on something, all of a sudden your brain starts working for you instead of against you, right? Like if I'm thinking about what could go wrong, my brain's gonna fill my brain with all potential scenarios in which this won't work. So if I go into something saying like, I wanna start this cleaning business, I want it to be successful, but I don't know, like I don't really have enough time as it is. Like how am I supposed to do this if I don't have time? And then your brain starts saying, yeah, you don't have time. Yeah, you got to do this. Yeah, you got. So no, we have to commit. You have to commit and say, this is what you want to do. If you can do that, you're going to get your brain to start working with you. So notice I didn't say, oh, if you want to find that extra time, you have to get rid of Netflix. There's no chilling. You can't hang out. You got to ignore your children, because that's not true. That's not true at all. This is a simple business. No, it's not easy, but it is simple. If you're actually committed, then what I'm going to tell you in the next tip is going to be enough for you to get this thing off of the ground. And then ultimately, after a little while, replace your income totally. So now you just have your cleaning business as your main source of income. So if you're committed, let's jump into the next thing. All right, tip number two, you need to break this down into small steps. I once heard like a public speaker say, what's the best way to eat an elephant? Thinking to myself, like, I don't want to eat an elephant. But they were like, what's the best way to eat an elephant? And then no one seemed to get it. And he was like, one piece at a time. And I'm like, all right. I think there's better ways to say that, but it's a good point. It's a good point. You say an elephant's so much bigger than we are as a human, like you can't even imagine doing it, right? But let me use something else. What I like to say to people is, what's the best way to build a skyscraper? Like, what's the best way to build like a 130 floor skyscraper? The answer is one floor at a time. The reason why we say that is because you want to avoid overwhelm, okay? Now, it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed nowadays because there's just so much information everywhere and it's really difficult to really focus on one thing. So to avoid that, we need to get things broken down simple. So what's our one floor at a time for a cleaning business? Well, I'm about to show you. But before I do, if you're getting value, hit me with that thumbs up, leave a comment below. If you are getting the value, let me know if you have any questions. Let's get back into it. So how do we break this down? We break this down by phases. What are the phases for this company? The first thing you have to do is you have to make yourself the unicorn. That is basically your branding. That is going to be your marketing approach. It's going to be your messaging. It's going to be the name of your company. Names matter. Check out my other videos about this. I go over all of this. How to get a website, how to get a website on the cheap, how to get a website that's pro, cheap, and you don't have to do it. I talk about that too in my videos. And then ultimately your target list, because you're going to want to know who you're targeting, of course. That plus more, that could be broken down a little bit at a time. Now, all that may seem overwhelming if you just look at a list. But if you just take it step by step and you just say, hey, this week my main target is I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna name my business, I'm gonna give it a unicorn name, I'm gonna come up with the company messaging, and I'm going to get a logo created for me while starting to build my target list. Okay, cool. You're 1 week in and you're already covering a major part of your company. The next step to close that out is you wanna go out and get maybe an LLC or an S Corp, however you set it up, doesn't matter, but go set up your company. But guess what? You're not actually doing that. You're gonna be paying someone else to do it. So once that ball is rolling, within like a week to 10 days, you've just closed out phase one. You went from no business to the next phase. and the next phase is getting clients. Once you're past phase 1, you're gonna go into phase 2 and phase 3. Phase 2 is gonna be about getting your clients, getting your offices. The next phase is getting your cleaners. I wanna keep this video short. For anyone who wants greater detail on what I'm talking about, check the first link in the description. I put together a new training. Yes, it's a training, and yes, it's free. Go check it out. It'll give you a much better understanding of what I'm talking about. So to keep things short, it's 10 days, you're a unicorn, right? You got that going. Now you're out there getting clients. You spend the next 2, 3, 4 weeks warming up your market, getting clients. And before you start landing clients, you want to be getting those cleaners. So you want to be interviewing cleaners at the same time while you're looking for clients. And then once you get clients, you put the cleaners there, give them a couple days of training, and they should be ready to go. At that point, you want to repeat. Then ultimately you get to phase 4, which is automation. But again, you're gonna be free from your 9 to 5 even before we get to automation. So it's important to focus on the first 3 phases. And for some reason, I keep pointing at this and I don't know why, but hopefully you know where I'm coming from. But once you break everything down into these phases and you make this super digestible and easy to chew, so to speak, you know, building that skyscraper 1 floor at a time, you'll look back in 30 days and say, oh, wow, like I'm the unicorn. I've landed an office or 2, and I have a cleaner or 2 cleaners doing the work. This is incredible, and my life hasn't changed all that much in terms of time. That, my friends, is the power of focus. Now, let's get to tip number 3, super important. Tip number 3 is delegate, delegate, delegate. Okay, so you're at your 9 to 5, and you're busy, and you're starting to get some clients, and you have some good cleaners. It's time to start delegating. The way we do that is to figure out all the things you don't like doing or you don't have time doing, and you figure out ways to have people do it for you. Now, don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. What you have to do is break down the phases, and you have to look at the daily tasks, right? It's not gonna be a ton of them, but some of these things are time consuming. So what you wanna do is you wanna figure out what things you can give off to someone else. Example, let's say you don't want to be training new cleaners anymore, you don't want to be hiring new cleaners anymore, and let's say you don't want to be doing quality control checks. Well, congratulations, you are ready for your first quality supervisor. Don't worry, you don't have to go out there and hire some hotshot to do this. All you need to do is to take one of your cleaners, figure out which one of your cleaners that you currently have is probably going to be the best fit to move up into management, and then all you have to do is train them how to do the things that you don't want to do. Train them how to hire cleaners. Train them how to train cleaners. They should know how because you train them. And ultimately, it's going to be so much easier that way because they actually know the spaces. You start doing stuff like that, then all of a sudden, the time you were spending, like, oh God, you know, I have a busy schedule, plus I'm a cleaning business owner, went from this to like down here. This is how we're able to automate. Automation through delegation. That's it, guys. But most importantly, I just want you to know it's possible. I want you to know that if you are stuck and you feel like, dude, I gotta get out of here, can I even start a business? You absolutely can. And the point of this video is to get you to see it and believe it. But I realize that it's missing some detail, so anyone looking for more detail, check the first link in the description. For everyone else, you should totally watch this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.